of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got their cell phones up. Do you have any additions or subtractions from the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
So moved.
First, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the amendments from the April 22nd, 2020 regular meeting and April 23rd, 2024 special session.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve employee claims filed by the county auditor for $715.96.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve the city of Fairbanks special election claims filed with the county auditor in the amount of $1,777.18.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve payroll authorization for Abigail Hindenrick, Reserve Sheriff Deputy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve payroll authorization for Tristan Dilly, Reserve Sheriff Deputy, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
First, and I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve payroll authorization for Landry Jones, a seasonal conservation technician intern, effective May 13th, 2024 at $15 per hour.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve payroll authorization, Morgan Hendrickson, seasonal conservation technician intern, effective May 9th, 2024 at $15 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve payroll authorization of Cassidy Fettersfield, seasonal national naturalist intern, effective May 13th, 2024 at $15 per hour.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Let's place on file the following manure management plan. Daryl Higgins, Jefferson Township, Section 23. Matt's Place, Westburg Township, Section 23. I'm sorry, Section 35.
Place those on file.
Second.
And first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we have 7 minutes before our 9:10 public hearing.
We could probably do the canvas
Okay,
because there was only like 146 voters.
special election.
Okay. So as you look at these, I'm gonna read my canvas, but the first candidate's Tom Hyde. Second's Michael Grutzmacher, and then there's 2 precincts, the absentee and the Fairbank Legion. And 3 should be.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna start with the absentee precinct. Tom Hyde, 0 votes. Michael Grutzmacher, 3. Fairbank precinct, Tom Hyde, 48. Michael Grutzmacher, 98. Brings a total vote for Tom Hyde to 48 and Michael Grutzmacher, 101. And we will do this all over again next Monday, because then I will have the results from Fayette County. And we'll do a second tier canvas to finalize everything. We'll combine both of those.
Okay.
Good.
We need a motion, Ms. Chris.
Make them move the canvas.
Second.
The first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
We can. Dawn had sent, we'll talk about the EOC and the ARPA funding. Dawn had sent an email regarding you guys know the trouble that we're in as far as finance for paying for this. But she had sent an email stating that the change orders and I have an amount to Hawkeye Alarm for $3,288. And I just got another metrics invoice for $5,625. But she had stated that could possibly be paid out of ARPA. And the total cost with the change orders and Hawkeye Alarm and metrics is $38,004.17.
38,000.
38,004.17. I just need approval or disapproval from the board on if they would like to. I'll have to do a journal entry correction because they've already been paid for, to pull them from what's already been paid out of the capital improvements fund into being paid out of ARPA.
For those payments out of the other, general improvements, did that 38,000 put that line in jeopardy?
This 38,000, I was talking about taking it out of ARPA.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But you said there was some, but already been paid, correct?
Everything's been paid. That's why their 1503 fund is in the hole, $108,000.
Okay.
But if we pull that out, then that leaves, we're only negative 70,064. And then probably what I will have to do is I'm going to have to pull what's left in the capital projects line in the general fund that you guys had budgeted for projects. I'm gonna have to pull that into the 1503 fund. So absolutely zero can be spent out of that general basic project line. And then once we get a payment, then it's back to shuffling and it back into the correct fund.
Yeah.
Do this, or we sit on pins and needles and wait to see if that payment comes in,
Or I hire a bonding attorney to,
or we hire a bonding attorney. And I really don't want to hire somebody if we don't have to.
I make a motion, we apply the payments from the ARPA funds so that we can restore that.
I'll second.
The first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
and I have yet to get the last bill or invoice from Mott Construction, which is fine by me because we don't have the money to pay for it anyway.
Right, and that won't come in. They have to sign off on it first. I don't think the punch list has been completely done. And I'll reach out to Miss Dowd at the state again. Minutes.
While we're waiting, can you run a report for us on where we're at on that general services budget too? You gave us the one for the
Do you want
supervisors.
so you want Department 51?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll shoot Ann a message, have her run it now.
Appreciate that. That never works.
No, it doesn't. Time takes really slow when you're waiting for a public hearing.
Got it. 9:10.
All right, so 9:10 public hearing, third reading of the E911 ordinance. Can I have a motion to open up the public hearing? And everybody please sign the document as it goes around.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing for the third reading on E911 ordinance amendment.
I
Okay.
have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the public hearing is open.
Comments from the public?
I'll just add two more addresses to get it on record. So each month that I report to public health, Teresa Andres usually updates me on what she's doing in the Amish community, or we exchange contact information. But there's two signs that are two schools that were recently, one was recently built, one was recently reopened. But I believe, or these should have been, these are almost a year old. 1341 Central Avenue. That's the new one down by the butcher shop there, up by Fairbank.
Okay.
And then 1540 130th Street. That is the Pleasantville Amish School. It's just to the west of 1542 130th Street. And that was one that's been randomly opened just to the east of a dwelling of an Amish family.
Okay,
But those are two, and what we have there is obviously you have young kids walking to and from, sometimes now with them not always being affiliated with the Jessup or Wapsie Valley School, you have young teachers as well. Teresa's just concerned, we want to get those signs put in, and I'm willing to go pound them in as long as we have them. But those two, along with those three subdivisions, and I already resent to Chris and Evan that information that I had sent them before on two of those areas.
right.
And then I'm working on Cunningham Road.
I guess there's some confusion on what's actually gonna be required for signs out there. I don't know, can we go out and take a look at them sometime?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Specifically, I remember Chris saying he wasn't sure if, because of the complexity of the sign, if he would be able to use surcharge money in order to pay for the signs, which would mess up his line item.
So they'll, like the ones that I shared with you with the
Mhm.
arrows, there would be, in some instances, depending on where the dwelling sets, 3 signs for one address. So one at the road, and we can compile those on one where we have all of them listed at the driveway.
right,
And then as you go up to the Ys, there would be the numbers with arrows or potentially straight, and then one at the driveway. So in essence, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's gonna audit for surcharge, but if it's for a 911 sign, I'm interpreting and fighting for that, those dollars are for something like that.
right.
That's
I would
typical.
think that would make sense.
We're not gonna see any change. Like out there, I noticed going out to Denali, you got the main number there, and then beside it is actually the lot number, like 49, 48.
Yeah.
And stuff. There's gonna be no change. That's gonna stay
Yeah, the
continuous on that.
Correct. Mhm.
I do know, I just ran in, I called, reported to Chris the other day, there is some out there that still, once in a while you run into spots that don't have them. I know there's a spot, on Union Avenue, about 1.5 miles north of D22. A grain set up there, I mean, it's been there for a while, there was some older grain bins there, and then they added recently 2 more grain bins, and then there's only like an old loafing machine shed there, stuff.
where you at west of Racing Ave?
North of D22 on Union Avenue,
Yeah.
about.
I guess my question would be, and maybe Evan, you know, since this discussion's happened on the ordinance, has the county secondary roads pounded any signs in?
Not for residents,
Okay, there's our
No.
answer.
not to my
Yeah.
knowledge.
It hasn't,
There's our answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they hit go on the app, I get an email, so I haven't had an email for.
and I apologize. Some of that's my fault because it did take me that long to rewrite the ordinance. I was I have other things going on, so it wasn't just sitting at my desk for 8 hours a day rewriting an ordinance, but. And trying to get.
So that would be
together.
my question, or my concern is the ones that were lagged behind. How are we getting those from a closet wherever they are right now? Who's sticking those in? Are we calling the homeowner? Am I delivering them to their front porch? What are we doing, I guess?
Yeah, and I think Chris was gonna actually stick them in.
Okay, and
That
that's
should be,
That's what he said.
as long as we know
Yeah.
who's doing it.
Mhm.
Any more comment, Brian?
Yeah, this is news to me because these are Wapsie Valley schools that are going in.
No,
No, private
They
schools.
use private.
Okay, that was the difference, because do we put school signs up? Well, we do on the Wapsie Valley, but we have not historically on private, the school sign.
So.
Oh, these are just 911.
They're 911 signs.
Yes, no,
I mean,
but I've got, my concern is otherwise, that's the first I've heard about these schools. Do I put school signs up?
oh, yeah, like slow, like, yeah,
Yes.
I would,
We've got a bunch of private schools out there that I don't think they put the school signs up on. the private
There's
schools.
numerous.
Yeah, there's numbers, there'd be quite a few of them to cover.
Yeah,
The assessor's office could give you a report pretty quick. Brad.
yeah, and I'm gonna just double check with Chris too, but I'm just trying to. This is, hey, this is the first I've heard about the schools going in, so now do I need to be doing something?
right, this could be like a discussion for another board meeting or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any more comments for the public hearing on the ordinance change? I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
Yeah, first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, do I have a,
I'll make a motion to go. That. ordinance.
so
I'll second that.
the third reading is approved and final adoption? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we're up to opening the bids up for rail cars.
Thank
Can I let's open the public hearing?
It's not a public hearing, it's just opening.
Oh,
Okay, so we received one bid. And it's from Erdman,
how do I spell that?
Erman, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong, ERMAN.
Okay,
3 rail cars at $22,828.75 a piece for a total bid of $68,486.25.
That sound, Brian?
That's as good as we're getting anymore. And we did contact 2 other suppliers also. There's Gateway Pipe and Supply out of St. Louis. And then there's a rail yard out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. But the rail cars sometimes are available, sometimes they're not. Gateway, what they like to do is they like to get a bid. Get it locked in for sales, and then they'll start searching for your cars, and then you get whatever they find. And we put in there, we want to inspect them before we take delivery, and they don't want to work with us.
And this company will let us inspect.
They'll let us inspect beforehand.
I make a motion to approve the bid from Urban,
first one,
$68,486.25.
Second.
first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we have 3 minutes.
Take my notebook back wherever it went. And actually, we can flip the page and pass it around for the next public hearing. Yep.
The wall clock and our computer clocks don't match. Off a minute.
Got a minute. We'll test it.
Yeah, I don't think I can reach it, not even with a really tall ladder.
Okay.
All right. 9:20, let's open the public hearing for the third reading of the Maryville subdivision. First
Second.
and second, all in favor, signify by aye. Motion carries. All right,
Okay, in the third reading of the adoption of the subdivision, been through all the rezoning process, it's gone on 6 or 8 months from the beginning of the first submittal. But we have a large copy up there, and then here on the monitor. Again, the two questions, traffic and then drainage is the largest concern. If you look at the 2 areas in blue, those are the retention ponds. The first one to the inside of the road, that was from the original design, and then the one to the north and east was added with a concern from the owners to the north in the established River Ridge subdivision. But as far as the checklist and our final plat for subdivisions, everything has went through in front of the department heads, everything's signed, taxes are up to date. It's been through the county engineer, our office, the county attorney, and then the P&Z commission, along with the city of Independence 2-mile radius review, all was recommended unanimously. I did mention in the past 2 readings, I had heard from these individuals, but since the first reading began, I've not heard anything. I think they were satisfied or they understood my explanation. But from the River Ridge subdivision to the north, I'd heard from Marty Brown, Wayne Burke, Nancy Slocum, Michelle Van Sickle, Rick Crawford, Rick Mosier, Jeffrey Shonka, and Mary McGill. And again, as far as the units, just want to confirm, there are 12 buildings, but there's 24 units. So there's 12 duplexes there. And again, they're going to plan to do the infrastructure first with the road infrastructure, and then they're anticipating to start from the west and move to the east. And so I would anticipate, this is going to take a little bit of while in regards to filling up the subdivision. But again, not heard any calls, no emails, no conversations since. I would recommend it. And again, the city's approved everything. The conversation and the most largest concern has been that you've heard before is the potential golf cart traffic from this subdivision in and through and around the current subdivision that has a private road. And that's something that has to have happened communication wise between the 2 homeowner associations, and I believe they're making some headway there. I believe that May 8th is the date where a lot of the individuals that move south for the winter are getting back, and they have something already scheduled from what I'm getting told.
Now, you had mentioned the homeowners association, the covenant. So basically, I mean, there's one already in place that's got occupant stuff. This is a whole new one. So if there's negotiation going on right now between the 2, apparently it must be just the developer going with the existing one out there right now, because actually a homeowners association covenants for the occupants are all members of that stuff, where they don't have any members right now.
Yeah, so the developer files those, and that's actually covenants and restriction can be more restrictive than what we at the county require. And that's pretty common. Randy Blinn across the road has something totally different. But potentially Brad, I know he's working with Robertson Eddy. He could potentially be in copying what Lou has done in the past. I'm not sure. Those will get filed with these documents and the additions and amendments that's been changed with Marine. When those get filed or they send me a copy, I'll definitely review them. But they're still in negotiation that will probably have some language in there and around about the golf course use as far as the private road. But again, as far as the county goes, your response has been taken care of. We have a paved road to get to Denali. We have a paved road to get to River Ridge Golf Club. You've done your job, and there's no cart path on the drawings submitted that they're going to enter that private road from Brad's property.
Is there anything? Do
I
I,
need to ask a question. Chad, is Fred still looking at possibly getting some of the old weepy from Kurt?
I know there's conversation of that. I think that's his future desire to be able
Is
to
there a
rerun.
place for it though? Chooses to do that.
Yeah, so it would have to be, the individual that bought, yeah, leave that up there if you would.
Yeah,
But go back. Idiot.
Yep.
Sorry.
So lot 32 and 33, this is currently being re-subdivided in a property line adjustment with a newer owner that's gonna
Yeah.
build a new home. And so he would have to go on the Ayler's property this way to get east and then go north.
Oh.
So it is doable, but, I know that they're not close to the number currently from what I understand.
I talked to Kurt this weekend and he hasn't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything. So. And dealing with Brad, I mean, that's normal, so he's a busy guy.
That would make it easy, I guess, if people are concerned about traffic.
Is there any other public comments?
She's closed.
Second.
First and second, public hearing is closed. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
I
Aye.
make a motion, we adopt the subdivision request for Maryville.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, signify by aye.
All right,
Motion carries. All right, next up is set the public hearing for the ABCX zoning amendment. And my thoughts on this is I know that some of the planning and zoning would like to be there because they've worked long and hard on this. And I know right now, planting season, all the planting season should be coming to a close. I don't want it at the same point in time that we're doing our business meeting because then our business just needs to be conducted without a three-ring circus.
I think we have to decide on where we can hold it that would accommodate the anticipated public interest.
Right. My guess is the ELC Center is had 85 firefighters in it the other day, sitting around tables, so. If it can hold those tables plus 85, I think we can clear the tables out and hold enough people. And we have parking there.
So what's the occupancy of that? You said there's 85 there. What is the?
I'm not sure what the actual occupancy is.
Is that occupancy been, there needs to be an occupancy set and probably by the city out there? And has that been done yet?
That I'm not sure of.
I thought they spoke, and I could be completely wrong, but at the exec board meeting the other day that it was 68.
Okay,
And we're having a.
Oh,
public
Chris
hearing.
here just popped in. Yes, 65. Thank you, Chris.
I don't think that's gonna be enough to accommodate. I think we're gonna go over that.
Well, then-
I'm thinking,
you're
I'm thinking
suggesting,
we could have well over 100. I
Okay.
mean, to tell you, we've had a packed crowd up there at a P and Z meeting up there. With way over occupancy up there. People were standing around, no chairs set on, stuff. So we need to make sure we can, the people that wanna come there, be accommodated, come in here, voice their opinions and be heard and hear what's being said also.
Would it maybe be worth checking with high school and see if we could use the auditorium?
well, if we're gonna set it, we need to set the place and nobody's checked with them up until now. So what are you gonna do about that?
Just throwing it out there.
I'm just asking. I'm like, this is kind of. I had,
Right now, I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, the only place I'm thinking that could possibly accommodate that kind of number we're looking at right now is maybe Heartland Acres. But I know that's gotta be scheduled and everything pre-scheduled too, so.
and so you want us to pay for it? We've already have money out of our pocket for 3 other things on this.
Yes.
Where we've got in front of the public.
I know money always seems to be an issue, but I don't wanna get in trouble by not, when people gotta stand outside, not able to enter and hear what's going on, that we're gonna have a major violation on our hands if that happens. We need to make sure we can accommodate the people. Period.
Well, I was gonna do it at the EOC Center and I already had that cleared. Since we're now in, and you guys knew this was on agenda and nobody has reached out to anybody else. Brandon Community Center, that does hold enough people. I'm okay with going to Brandon Community Center.
Michael.
Yeah.
Brandon Community Center's fine with me.
Lusky, big event in.
No, they don't have their, no, because the acoustics are really bad there.
And they would be, we're talking hundreds plus, it's. Like you said, the acoustics is terrible in that.
Yeah, let's not add it to a place that has alcohol.
Brandon would be ideal, because there'd be a lot of people down there.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do
How
the
about
Brandon.
River's Edge? I don't know the occupancy there.
I don't know either, that's.
So the problem is you have the framed out pillars there, so
And
eyesight is difficult at times.
And we'd have to just. Something like this, I don't think it's necessary to have tables set up, we just need chairs.
Yeah, just need chairs. Do you think, Brandon Community
That
Center?
would be plenty.
Okay.
We had like close to 150, 200 before we had the meeting.
So we had packed crowds here for one of ours, and we had this full up here, and we had the assembly room full down there, and to try and do our communications, and I didn't like it.
do we want to keep this on a Monday and do like late afternoon? So that people can be there? I don't know. Chad, what's your schedule?
Minute by minute. Yeah, I'll make it work.
Well, and the other concern is farmers in the fields. If we hold it too early in May, a lot of them are gonna be
Right.
tied up farming.
I would like to make sure that the planting season is over. And with the
Oh,
rain coming up now this week, possible rains and stuff, I don't know where the farmers are gonna fall in and out with that, so.
when's Memorial Day?
27th.
Tuesday we would have our business meeting on Tuesday morning. Chris, what's your schedule?
I have two different classes for election training that day.
Okay.
On the 28th.
What about the 29th? Wednesday?
I don't know what do we think about something to consider there, that being a holiday week. If families are traveling, doing things, are gone out of town and stuff. I know it's hard to pick a date, but I'm just
Could
thinking
be.
about that issue too. People are gonna be able to be there because of it being a holiday week.
Typically in May, though, that's not, more people are getting ready for graduations than they are for going out of town. Like July 4th and Labor Day, then yes, seems like people take those weeks off. Especially July 4th.
Well, went into the next week and did it like on,
You're running into primary election time. Also,
It's June 3rd, correct?
Fourth.
Oh, 4th. We got I think an opinion.
It's just a question. Were you gonna hold a public hearing for each reading? Was that the idea?
I would like to do the first, second, and third, but there's no way I can get by with this one on this, sorry.
What's that?
So I would like to do a first, second, and third all at one time, but I don't think I'll be able to get away with that one.
I was just curious so that, it's spread out a little bit. Like whether people are on vacation or anything or.
Right.
There's 3 opportunities for people to show up.
Yeah,
That's true. I mean, I guess.
I would rather do it week and get it done.
Yep.
But
yeah,
that's my opinion. You let it, it's already dry out so long. You know, It's ready, I'm ready to move on.
Been 2 years.
I think we all,
I'm all right with the 29th as one of the dates, whether it's first or whatever.
can we do the 22nd, the 29th, and the 5th?
That being the next day after elections, Chris, is that still a problem in your world? being on a Wednesday.
After the election on
Yeah.
June 5th.
You'll be moving
Yeah.
equipment around, okay?
Yeah.
So the June one's not gonna be on
That's
the
what I was
Wednesday.
thinking.
Oh, besides, that's planning and zoning too.
Because we was looking at back-to-backs and that's how that would hit.
We could do the,
Well,
no. The week of the third someplace.
I'm just gonna go out and. I'm guessing. That as much passion is involved with this. That the farmer will come out field. If you're gonna taking it only in the evening. Just guessing.
So the 15th, the 22nd and the 29th. Those are all Wednesday nights. And do it in the evening. Like around, what time, boys? Girls? I don't wanna go too late in the evening. I'll get hangry. That should be bad.
6,
Meetings are held at 7.
Yeah, we're 6 and 7. One, I think Brandon was 6, but the other one might have been 7.
6.
7 might be easier for people to schedule to.
because there is people that don't get home work until 5:36.
But at least with 6, you know, I mean, I'm sure might be started, but we probably won't be finished, so they can always come in at that point in time
Yeah,
too.
we gotta get all their signatures.
Your signatures, they can sign up at the door.
Yeah, well, we had a long trail. Sharon and I had to delay the start because we had people waiting, trying to get in there to get the meeting started.
That was at the first meeting.
We didn't have.
The other two was not like that.
Right.
Are you gonna, for the sign in and stuff like that? And I'm sure that it's nice to have more than one people taking care of that.
It's your meeting.
We can have more than one person take care of it. I mean, Chris, last time had all kinds of signature pages and at the door, so,
You have 2 lines. Last time at Brandon, there was only 1 line.
yeah. And I'm sure somebody from
Would
the
it
audience
be
will.
inappropriate to utilize some of the volunteers from the planning and zoning to man the tables to maybe set up like 4 stations to speed them through? Would that be,
Yeah,
Can't we just throw them out on tables like we have in the past? And people come in and throw I've had the sign-in sheets and about 15 pins there.
And I'm also gonna request this too, that planning and zoning have their own reserved seats. Because, you know, if they're gonna be maybe potentially helping manning tables or doing whatever, then we need to assign them seats.
Weather permitting, you could have sign-up tables outside. You know.
Yeah.
If the weather's not, it's not raining or windy.
And that hall's big enough, like that entryway in the hall's big enough to have two tables plus lines.
You mentioned 7 o'clock, John. I'm kind of thinking that's okay too.
I think that would be more scheduling friendly for people. I know when I worked, it was always hard to make a 6 o'clock meeting.
You will take care of contacting Brandon?
Yeah.
Community center, okay, and then the day of setting out chairs, getting prepared, et cetera.
Bob, can you contact Brandon Community Center for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll do
Just
that.
set out chair, plan on what I do for the P and Z moments.
Right.
Go out and get it done.
Mhm.
Right.
Seems to me we had a
Dates
speaker system over there. Didn't we?
Um,
Didn't we have a speaker system?
Yes.
Yeah, the 15th, the 22nd and the 29th.
June.
Nope,
Okay,
Okay.
second, 29. 7 o'clock-ish.
7
Yeah.
o'clock.
You can be there at a time. It'd be-
Maybe 15 or 16.
15th.
15.
We're just gonna keep them on, we're gonna do them on a Wednesday at night.
Now, who's gonna pay for it? I paid for it last time.
Chad's gonna pay for it.
No, the board can pay for it, I guess.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's technically your ordinance, so it should come out of the supervisor's budget. I don't know what line item. Have to figure that
I'll
out.
figure it out.
Publication costs and everything else going along with this, everything.
Yeah,
Don't get nothing done for.
I honestly do probably have some money in my budget to help if you need, so let me know.
I try to get it done for no charge, guys.
If there's no further discussion on it, I'll make a motion to set some public hearings. And hopefully it'll work at Brandon Community Hall on May 15th for the first, 22nd for the second, 29th for the third,
At 7 PM.
7 PM.
7 PM.
Start time 7 PM.
I'd second that motion.
You have a first and a second, all in favor, signify by aye.
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 Bob, as soon as you hear something, can you let me know, because I need to get this to the newspaper.
Sure,
As long as it-
once we get done, I'll go out in the hallway and I'll
Call.
call Phyllis. and see
Okay,
if it's available.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
And these are all Wednesdays, right?
Right,
Yep.
Yes.
Which usually is a night that it's another.
all right, now we got that unpleasant business out of the way. Selling the excavator and other miscellaneous equipment.
I think this is something, Brian, that this has been brought up by citizens, also. Primary thing here is to make sure that when we are working on buying equipment, we're trading in equipment, what we can do with maximizing the amount of dollars that maybe the counties can get for that piece of equipment.
Okay,
If
Mr.
we're
Chair.
just justly getting enough money in trade-in value, because when they take it and trade in, they're expecting to make profit when they resell. They're gonna give a minimal dollar amount so they can make some profit, preparing it for resale.
Okay, my question, and I'm flexible completely however you want to handle it. Do we do that on motor graders too? Because the demand locally is.
Right, but I'm not even thinking like on a local level. We have like, there's companies out there
Big
that
Iron,
actually can
Big
sell.
Iron, yep.
Yeah, Big Iron, I think Purple Wave, Purple some, yeah. And they can sell them. I don't know how many hours this has on it. I see it's a 2011 Cat M31, I'm sorry, 318D. Do you know how many hours it has on it? With the
I
tape?
think it's right around 70,000.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, so what I was seeing with, when I pulled up this model, the ones that had 7,000. And this, a very similar year was like, they were selling for 80,000.
We can, and I did call up, the cat salesman too. And he says, hey, even on this one, he doesn't have it sold. We could pull it out yet.
I'm thinking of something like this, and this was brought up by an individual. And I've noted for a fact, I've seen private individuals buy backhoes and stuff. And if they got certain projects they want to get done, and then they turn around after they're done with them and they
Sell.
resell. And there's a lot of small-time excavating companies out here, bigger farmers. I know there's a lot of farmers out there got their own hose.
Yeah.
Keep them.
There's a lot of farmers that have their own.
So I don't know what was the matter with something like this going to add
Yeah,
in the
and
paper, and I don't think an ad in the, I think the maximize on an ad in something like this. The Farm Bureau spokesman would be a better place than the Bulletin Journal.
yeah, do we go that route or do we go to a Big Iron route where somebody truly comes in, lists it? You pay about a 10%, 9.75 or something like that percent on top of that. Big Iron works a little different than Purple Wave. One of them bills me, the other one bills the person that's buying it.
There again, are we leaving out the local in small time?
You're not really leaving, that's where they're gonna go to look for equipment anyway.
I know with a markup cost.
Okay, but you want the most money for our equipment than we can possibly get for our county tax
Mhm.
people?
One way the board's done it over the years, and just particularly on pickups and such, and they tend to be, I've got one right now that's got 300,000 miles on, we plan on selling. The board actually advertises it in the papers, and we could do the Farm Bureau, and then the board has an auction here in the boardroom.
if we go the big iron route, then we just tell you to go the big iron route and
Then I'm done with
and
it.
if it's like $80,000, they take about 9% of it
Yep, and then we get,
as a commission.
yeah, and then they keep their commission and. No, because once you sign up for them, they sell that piece of equipment. If you get 8,000 or 80,000, they don't care. It's sold. No reserves, there's the term we should. Okay, so somebody like Murphy Traffic, Tractor, we already know that they're gonna give us 30. Yeah, in this So- case, so- in the one you're talking right So now, it's, We set a minimum thing with Purple Wave. I mean, we don't want Purple Wave to come in and say, well, I can only get 20 for it. And then we passed up the opportunity to get 30 from the. Yeah, once you sign up with a Purple Wave or Big Iron, there's no reserves allowed. Could we cut our own throat on that?
Right, that'd be fair. Just on that machine, because that machine is not something that has a lot of popularity. They have the dealers have a hard time moving that after they get it, for any more money than what they can get for it. Because it just doesn't, they've told us it's a dead horse because they don't have a demand for a machine like that.
They all like
That
crack.
tracked on it, that'd be different.
Okay, because it's wheel.
But with
Yep.
wheeled on it, they have a hard time moving that machine after they get it.
We had quite a discussion about this on our trip to Dubuque and back. The salesman.
Mhm.
And my concern is it gonna be tying up our staff, having to show this to people that wanna come and look at it, if we did advertise it? You know, we're taking man hours away from having them out there actually being productive.
How many people are gonna have looking, how long is it gonna take? We've sold end loaders before through Purple Wave. Yeah, I don't know, 3 or 4 people per piece of equipment.
Yeah. Ever come ask any questions?
I want to throw this thought out. Let's say if we just advertise locally. Something like this, say we set a minimum bid, and we're gonna get 30. We set the minimum bid at 30 or 31. And then when they come in, if hopefully we got more than one, they come in and they got the option to raise it. And if we don't get our 30, then we've set a minimum at 30, and if we don't get it, then it gets traded in. And I don't know if Brad or Mark Bierman would be willing to do that or not. Why would that be different than going to Purple Wave? Yeah, well, once I go to once I probably, here's my concerns. No, we haven't traded the machine. It's in our yard and it will be for 6 months, 8 months. But I'm not sure that Mark's willing to say, hey, you can try and sell this, and if he doesn't, then I'll give you the 30,000. I'm not sure. I think he wants an answer one way or the other.
Right. You can start marking it up front.
I could ask him that, and we could discuss this again next week. Vibrations I was getting from the other day, we could want to pre-sell it. He was all right with what we want decided on it. Yeah. But it's 30 would still stand. That's what I was. See, I'm not sure on that, Clayton. That's where I can't commit to that, because I didn't hear directly him say. But we could ask him and find out and then come back, or you can say, well, hey, we'll sell it locally, and if we'll try and put a minimum on it and then see if he. I don't want to get locked in with a contract agreement with Purple Wave and then to come find out we can only get 20 or 25 for it. Then I know off the get-go, we've lost $5,000.
But actually just setting it out there for what the trade-in value is as a minimum isn't probably a good idea either, because then why even go through this whole dog and pony show?
Why did we do that with anything we've sold? We've set a minimum.
We have set a minimum, but we haven't set a minimum at trade-in value. I mean, that seems like it's because you have advertising costs that come out of it. So you're not even make up your advertising costs.
That's why I mentioned a little bit more than the minimum, that, whatever the offer was at 30, to get that cost recouped. If it's possible.
John, your thoughts?
It's a gamble.
That's the bottom line.
I'm a gambler.
That's the bottom line.
I'm not in favor of getting locked into something on Purple Wave, because we can cut our throat by doing that.
Both Big Iron and Purple Wave work that way.
Ever advertised on like Auto Trader and their equipment?
I have
Okay.
never worked through them again. If you deal with the Big Iron or Purple Wave, what they do is they actually send somebody out to go through and inspect the piece of equipment.
I had my store, I had the Auto Trader magazines, they gave them away free and they're full of equipment. And people pick those up every time they got pulled in the rack.
Yeah, and there's another company out there called, similar, it's called Big Track.
The,
Take the 30.
Up to you, gentlemen.
I was gonna say, why don't we let Brian kind of check into a couple of options, whether we advertise it ourselves or how we do it, and
I'll
come back
look
to
at
us
Tracker.
next week with a recommendation.
That sounds good to me.
You can kind of weigh the pros and cons. I mean, I'd love to get more money out of it, but I don't have any hair left to pull out of my head, so.
When you look online, there's and this is, it looks like this build. 2012 Caterpillar M3318D with, where's my hours at? 5,500 miles. It's going for 85. But I mean, it might sit out there for 2 years too, who knows?
You had a hand
Yeah.
held up out there in the audience, Chairman.
Oh, Kathy, please.
Why would it matter to the company if he's gonna sell a brand new or a piece of equipment to you? Why would it matter to him if, because he did say we could sell it prior to.
Yeah,
So why would it matter to him if we sell it for 30, 40, 50,000?
that's,
Why would it matter?
that's
I
what,
guess I don't understand why he would say no to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why we've got to get Brent, we want, Brian to go back and talk to him, make sure that he's all right with anything we decide on that. And if we can make sure that that $30,000 is going to stay in place if we don't sell it out some other way.
I mean, 'cause he's gonna get the 300,000, wasn't the new one,
400.
or 400,000?
Yeah.
394 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge profit margin. I looked up several too, and I was amazed by what they were selling for. I don't think it was hardly anything under 80,000.
Do some further investigating for it, Brian. and bring it back
I'll
next
visit with Purple Wave, Auto Trader, Big Iron, and Mark Bierman.
Here's a 2011. Same model with wheels. And they're asking 69.9, 70,000.
Asking and guess.
70, and it has 7,400 hours.
Just like selling a house.
That was as of
But any
Monday.
price you want on it.
That was as of
It's not
Monday.
gonna,
That was as of Monday, April 15th.
Haven't heard, we got a equipment salesman, past equipment salesman sitting in our audience. I haven't heard nothing from him yet.
I think we're looking at it.
I guess, what we did in the past on something like that, whoever gets it sold first. Whoever gets sold first, ask 55,000 for it, and, if they get it, I mean, I'm sure they're being actively advertising once it's traded for, whoever gets it sold first and have that agreement, it should be easy.
Yeah, bring us back to specifics.
Yeah, I'll start with Mark on this too and make sure that we can. When I called him on Friday, because I didn't know the subject was on the agenda, he says, yeah, if you want to pull it out and not sell it not trade it that way, we can. But I'm not sure that if 3-4 months down the road, I can turn around and get that out of him again, but we can try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, yeah. Here, I just buried. Okay, so we're not doing anything with this. We're just gonna have it back on the agenda next week.
Great.
Right, secondary road summer work hours. And Brian, did you ask Karen about this? Contacted her.
We'd visit with Karen some last year, but the union contract and the personnel policy, actually, both of them say it's up to me. And that's why we want to come and visit with the board. Virtually all the counties around us, if not all the counties around us, go to a summer hour. And the DOT goes to a summer hour too. The DOT's gone to 410s. And so we've got the requests coming from the guys. My answer is, if it doesn't cost anything, why not do it? And actually, there's some benefits to it too.
Well, it's especially when it's really, really warm out.
Yeah.
Right,
And there's a lot of hours in one day, especially for a maintainer man. If it rains overnight, say, and it gets hot like that during the day, by 10 o'clock, you've lost all that moisture to do anything with anyway. They could get another hour earlier in the morning. You know, they could get another hour with the blading in before it dries back out again. So it's the heat of the day, the tire, they could get more done earlier in the morning when it's cool.
So
so you're looking at 7 o'clock then?
We're gonna
6:30, 6
6:30.
to 3:30.
So we're talking about keeping the 5 hours, not going to 410 or up, like keeping the 5 hours, just starting earlier and getting off earlier.
4 9s and a 4.
On Fridays, you do a 4-hour day.
4 in the morning. Like if we got signs out for pavement patching, we got locates to do, and we got machine cleanup that day, we can do that in the morning on Friday morning.
And the blade operators can still get out and catch some while there's some moisture.
So is this for all the employees in the secondary roads department? Is that the plan or?
Yeah, we've talked about that before. We're gonna do like your office manager out there. And then what are we gonna do about, and I brought this up last year, if somebody wants to make a delivery on Friday afternoon, they got that truck here in town, they wanna make that delivery, we're gonna make them wait until Monday morning to unload? That's not right.
Yeah, and I'm usually around home anyway, and I live just a few blocks from there, and I have run in many times in the past for things like that, Clayton.
But unload is sometimes some of the stuff we get in require equipment operation.
So
Can you operate the equipment to unload?
Don Davis trained me on the telehandler just lately again. So it's documented training,
Why is
yeah.
that any different than any other business?
It isn't.
No, I'm just.
I go to a business, they expect to be open till 4
It-
o'clock.
No matter what business you go to, if they're not open Friday afternoon, you can't get nothing there. You can't deliver nothing there on Friday afternoon, you can't pick nothing up.
And
And
I,
that's,
That afternoon, it doesn't matter.
right,
that needs to be coordinated with the delivery company, set up the delivery day and time.
Yep.
Any time, in the summertime, between this date and this date, we work this, these are our hours. And they always ask, what is your hours? You could, you know, or if we have a holiday in that week, any other time, I make sure that I tell them, okay, we have, you know, Fridays we're off, or Thursday we're off, or whatever day it is. So they know they can't bring it.
I see this very, very common throughout the construction, like road construction. A lot of other companies do that.
Going back to Chris's question.
A lot of counties around us.
Yeah.
Them hours can be.
The office manager has to work her same hours because unfortunately, she's part of the union contract here at the courthouse. A lot of flexibility in that contract.
I haven't looked at that contract. I don't know. That would be, I mean, I can look at it, but that would be more of a Karen question.
I think that's what she came up with last year. Does that sound right?
I did, there's efforts to get her into the secondary road union too. And
That request has gotta come from the union.
That request has to come from the union. It has been presented to them and we haven't just haven't officially seen.
Okay, well, so in the meantime, I mean, she would just have to probably work the courthouse hours until she can get switched to the secondary roads union.
She doesn't actually work courthouse hours right now. She works the 7:30 till 4 and she works the same hours as we do out there and always has.
Okay.
And I guess I'll check in, if it was changing, I'd like to have her hours correspond, if it's possible, per contract. Have her hours correspond with the change out there.
I can go get
Goes
that
by everything
contract.
he's out there anyway.
Yeah.
Your hours, all that stuff, is what we do. Not what they do up here.
Right, I know, I thought it was silly to begin with.
Here's a note here from HR. Language should include, this is a temporary change request, which needs to include an ending date. That the change hours requested is for those employees that work at secondary roads department, including the secondary roads office manager. And that all posting requirements being waived. Both representatives from both unions would need to sign the agreement as well.
And they dug up the union contract on this too, and the union contract provides for the engineer to make those changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we'd be looking at, Clayton, is go after Memorial Day and before Labor Day.
Prior to Labor Day.
And it prior to Labor Day.
So September 1st, you're saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when Labor Day is, but that works, doesn't it, Phil?
This is second,
Second September.
the last workday would be
August.
August 30th. But the last workday of the change.
Well, yeah, the 31st, oops, I'm on the wrong line.
Well, what happens if somebody has to come, if you just do, no, September 1st is Sunday, but still.
It's thinking like maybe from, mid-April. When this, because you gotta get to about mid-April, 15th or so before you get light at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So we did mid-April, what the guys were thinking was mid-September,
Through
do a
mid-September.
straight 5 months. Or
So-
someone wanted to do clear to mid-October, 6 months, 6 months. We hadn't really discussed that in a lot of detail.
But even for the trying at the beginning, even if we had to end it the end of October
For this year,
this year, yeah.
right? See how it worked out. Just from there.
Right.
And you said the end of October, what's your daylight hours towards the end of October? Days are already shortening up.
September 30th.
Yeah. For trial basis, I wouldn't want to go into October.
September 30th.
So I would say September 26th even for an end date, because then the following week you go back to the 5/8.
Chris, will this cause any complications, making sure that starting, ending falls into payroll? Is what that be affected at all?
Doesn't matter, 40 hours, 40 hours.
Nope, as long as the timesheets are right and they're approved and signed off by the department head.
Same amount of hours.
My only concern is, and once again, I'm not HR and I really wish Karen was up here for this, is in the courthouse contract that Janet's currently in. It says the normal, it's specific. It says the normal work week for the office manager of the secondary roads department shall consist of 5 8-hour days. And it says then times and arrangements for lunch and rest periods may vary depending on the nature of the work being performed, blah, 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 blah. In my mind, it's not specific enough that it can't be changed. But once again, I'm not HR.
I think HR gave. Clayton, you had some.
I got that marked in
That's dated.
there.
You can still run our hours.
Well, see, it doesn't say, it just says 8 hours.
I think as long as the board signs it and Brian signs it as approved, and then the union representative, what I'm getting from Karen, if both parties sign and agree to that, we're okay.
No, and it needs to say this is a temporary change request, which needs to include an ending date. That the change in hours requested is for those employees that work at secondary roads department, including the secondary road office manager, and that all posting requirements are being waived. Representatives from both unions will need to sign the agreement as well.
Okay, so is there agreement? Who's doing up the agreement? What do we got going here?
What I pictured, and this is what I'd put something together on my letterhead, and I would sign it and get the union to sign off on it, and then we'd be good. And that conforms with the county's personnel policy. It says for work schedules, department heads may determine the work schedule, including meal periods and interruptible rest periods. For all employees, daily and weekly work schedules may be changed at the discretion of each department. Employees shall obtain prior written for working overtime. Yeah. But
Your decision is to have Janet work the same hours as what the.
but the secondary roads are, yes. That would mean the office is closed, but like I said, I can remember going out and I was not near as confident at running the end loader, trying to load some concrete pipe that were stacked 3 levels high.
There are hours these days.
But when emergencies come up, the contractors tend to call me anyway.
I think you're gonna have to get this paid up and bring it back to us. I'm gonna sit here and just
I just.
hearing the what you're putting in.
So what you guys are looking at, and because I didn't hear the Friday hours, Monday through Thursday, 6 to 3:30, and Friday was what?
6 till,
There.
yeah.
The other 4 days and what times?
6 to 3:30.
Be thinking about you guys when you're out there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
It's usually really nice at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm usually,
Cool.
me personally, I'm usually up at 5 o'clock every morning anyway.
I'm lucky to get my first cup of coffee in me at that time.
And 99% of our guys are in favor of that, just because it's low temperatures.
Right.
Our Mainstream men are really in favor of it because they like that idea. They get that out extra hour in the morning before it dries out by 10 o'clock in the morning. I've had that moisture gone like that.
Yeah, and I think that will help with the roads a lot. I think the people will like it.
You know,
You feel you've been, apparently you've talked to your staff and stuff. Is there any staff numbers that are resistant to this, don't want to see it changed?
no, nobody that was really resistant to it, no. They just said that, you know, I had maybe 2 guys, at the most 3, that said that that's not, that's what the hours are, they'll fit it in. That's all. They have kids that get on the bus or whatever be. He said that's not, they even said that's not really that big an issue. That's what the hours are, that's what they are.
Okay.
And I visited with Alex on it too, and no concerns there, was his words.
Suggest you put the year 2024, just in case things don't work out well, it can be changed easily next year.
Next year, address it
Look at
again.
Year by year, and, you know, you
Yep.
might change staff and maybe those things.
And that's recommended by our HR person, to make sure we got an ending date.
I forwarded the language to Brian.
Thank you.
And so everything gets together, what's the estimated start time for the hour change?
The start time, what I wrote down,
Date, I guess I should say.
Yeah, and I
Sorry about
wrote-
that.
and
We're in of April right now.
yeah, June 3rd through September 26th is what was just being discussed.
Or
I think it'd be
I
earlier
thought
than
it
that, though.
June, man.
May.
Go back to May.
Well, all right, we could, however the board wants to handle it.
Time in May.
We
Well,
start May 6th.
May starts Wednesday anyway. Want to do like the 6th this year?
Yeah.
Start May 6th. That way everybody knows it's coming.
Yeah. Is this something that you, a lot of times any changes, I know a lot of contracts, if you make a change, you're required to give a 2-week notice. I don't know if that's in there, any changes where you're required to make a 2-week notice.
One of these says 2 weeks, one of them doesn't say nothing.
Road doesn't say anything, courthouse says 14 calendar day notice.
The employee contract says 10 days written notice. The handbook has no, nothing. It says that we can change it at any time we want.
Well, to be safe, we'd be safe meeting that criteria if we didn't May 13th then. If that.
Well, it depends on if I'm running the letter back by the board again before I do it.
We could
No,
do that.
I don't think so. I think now we got enough information.
Okay,
Maybe we'll
okay.
have to go.
Going forward, like till next year. You want to start earlier,
I'd like to
In
say
April?
15 to April. Yes,
and that was what I was gonna suggest,
April, May, June, July, August,
and then be done.
September, I mean, you'd be, the end of September, we'd be done. It would be back to our 7:30 to 4.
So our end date that we're gonna come up with for this would be,
What I'd written down is September 26th,
that's a Thursday.
Thursday, because the Friday you'd have worked well, no, we better make it Friday, because it's a half a day.
I'm sure you guys by 4 hours.
And then what's the May date, start date?
13th, 6th.
That we had, so,
Well, if we were talking about meeting the 2-week, 14-day criteria, we can't meet that by the 6th. That could run this into.
and that only affects the office.
Yeah.
So you're talking one person.
You know, we're talking about telling these guys right now to. you
They
know,
got their
within
10
just a
days.
few days to make that change. I would like to give them a little more time until the 13th,
13th.
so they can adjust their private schedules. Okay, my motion is to authorize Secretary Rhodes, the county engineer, to change his work schedule hours 6 to 3:30, Monday through Thursday, and 6 to 10 on Fridays. The start day of May 13th and ending date of September 27th. And to get authorized signatures from the union representatives okay with this.
I'll second that.
And a first and a second, all in favor?
Right?
Aye. It varies. And then,
I'll get the letter put together.
Okay.
And get the signatures, and then it becomes official after the union signs it too then.
Yeah.
Good. That's everything I've got. Did you guys want me to stick around for public comments? A lot of times there's discussions on roads.
You can if you want. We're not gonna boost you out.
I gotta catch Phil real quick to the separation.
Thank you very much.
and thank
Phil.
you. Thanks for the information, Phil. Public comment sections of the agenda, it's your opportunity to address items not on the agenda. A speaker may speak on one issue per meeting per maximum of 3 minutes. The official action cannot be taken by the board at that time, but may be placed on a future agenda or reference to the appropriate department. Please keep comments germane and refrain from personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks. That's, that probably our board members don't need to be commenting on stuff. Answering questions.
I'll start so I can get back to work, but, so yesterday I was reading the spokesman, and I know that you mentioned a couple department head meetings about safe drinking water. So, Kate, I'm gonna leave this with you, submit this article. So there's a few, 13 in fact, environmental groups petitioning the EPA to get the EPA involved in the state of Iowa in regards to nitrates. And they had this same action that was done in the state of Minnesota last year. So my only issue with this is at least quarterly and a lot of times monthly, we go through webinars and seminars with the Grant County's program on drinking water. And we're one of the top 6 counties that I shared in the state in regards to the performance grant and the activities we do. So give you an idea why I'm a little bit frustrated that, you know, the state and the county, and when we're listed as having an issue, we've never been contacted by any of these agencies for statistics. So annually, we test anywhere between 225 and 275 wells per year.
Mhm.
So in 2021, we only had 8 wells come back with high nitrates. In 2022, we had 13. In 2023, we had 7. And thus far in 2024, we've had none. So obviously, you know, I want clean water. But I don't want this marketing employed by agencies that don't even communicate to the people that actually do the work on a weekly basis to market something that's really, in my opinion, not a concern. You know, you would have to do a well analysis to see, is the well constructed correctly? Was it, you know, drilled or driven in 1940 and has only casing in 20 feet? All those are things that, information that we could give these groups.
Right.
And so one of the things that we do, obviously, on any type of well that comes back poorly, I'll also submit this to you, is just what we send out for educational purposes as far as what nitrate, where they come from, and the levels that they need to be. One thing is, we've always actually went 1 point higher than the state. Anything 10 or above, we usually get the homeowner or the farmer, whoever's having the issue. The state level actually goes 1 point higher. But anyway, I just wanted to, if you want to read the article, little concerning. I know when I was here in my first tenure that there was a large amount of these groups trying to get counties to develop noise analyzation departments and grow the zoning department to, and number 1, we don't have the staff. Number 2, usually you don't have the money. And number 3, in Buchanan County, we don't have the industry. You know, that may change, may not, but I just wanted, in case you read this article, I wanted to have you, and I'll also report this to the Board of Health, a little bit concerning that Amber or myself has never been called yet. Buchanan County is listed in the 12 counties that they're going with a case to the EPA for. So trying to just educate you and the public, and I will submit this to you. And if you have any questions, you know, just let us know.
I'm
Yeah, I
assuming.
read that, I briefly read that article, I get the spokesman paper.
Yeah. I just think they're gonna list this, that they would wanna contact the, either the public health department or the environmental health department to get their facts straight before they write an article, but you know, in my opinion, that's not the way journalism works anymore.
No.
I think last week we even had a discussion about, we talked about aquifer, the use of water and stuff like that. And I don't know if anybody's got the opportunity, there was what's going on down there in Cedar Rapids, the high use of water, and they're gonna be drilling another well and stuff down there. There is a big demand for more water all the time because of the type of industries we have. So, and who would have thought Google data center would use as much water as they use? It's all in the cooling of the equipment and everything like that. So we have a major increase. I mean, yes, it doesn't direct us where it's a drain on the aquifer. That does affect us.
Chad, one of the things, the state legislature has not been very helpful to like the watersheds, because we fund our own testing of water sensors throughout, for instance, the Waxahachie River, and have done it for the last 7 years and have all that information. And they wanted to not fund watersheds if they were tied into water quality, which is insane. That should be everybody's concern.
Yeah.
So they can focus on floods, that type of thing, but they didn't want them messing with water quality.
That's wrong.
You know, and again, as far as nitrates go, you can buy a inexpensive reverse osmosis from Menards and you can have a local plumber install them and you can fix your issue pretty quickly. You know, those are just little things that we educate people on. Again, you can get with a water conditioning company like Colgan, you can spend 2,000, but again, these are all really quick fixes in regards to, but again, when you read the article, they manipulate the facts and don't quite educate everybody on how they should. So I just wanted to bring it up.
Well, Minnesota made dramatic changes in their nitrates and everything because of what the actions they put in place as far as the filter strips and that type of thing in the last 2 years, I think.
And I'm just, if you read it, you know, how they're talking about shutting down farmers and operations, et cetera. And I'm sure that's why it was in the paper that it was, to try to get, you know, farmers educated on what's potentially going on. And that would definitely affect a lot of local farmers here if they're gonna do the same thing. But thanks for the time. And I will also email you this list. It goes city by city on how many of those wells in the past 4 years have tested high for nitrates.
Did you even do a percentage on it? Like, that's gotta be like,
Less than 3%.
I was gonna say, that's gotta be a really low percent. So 97 or higher passed. Positive.
And again, it's still a concern. We want everybody to have good water.
Sure.
There's ways to fix that, but also the individual probably, in my opinion, needs a new well. Needs elevated out of the pit that it's in. Those are commonly the ones that are, have the issue. There's something else going on there. Thanks.
Thank you for your information.
Yep.
In public comment, if I could have your name and your address. That's it. Ethan.
I just have some maps here on, that I'd like to share with you, and I'm assuming you guys have access to them. One is on CSR in every county in Iowa, population percentage wise in every county in Iowa, and land area in square feet or square miles in Iowa. And when we're making decisions for wind turbines, I guess part of that is we have good population. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And, but I also think, you know, we're not gonna just take 100 acres out in Buchanan County. I don't know how many there is in Iowa. You guys probably can answer that, but we're gonna be taking out thousands of really good. You go out west and I was amazed by the CSR out there. I mean, they're up in the 80s and 90s.
We have more population than Grundy County.
Yep.
Or Hardin, or Hamilton. Webster has us.
That's all I had. I just wanted to share that information with you.
Thank you.
Last week, I talked with a realtor,
Name?
about a few months ago, about Brandon. I know you don't know me, I've never spoken before.
I know.
I talked to a realtor, and realtor talked about there's 2 acreages in Buchanan County right now for sale. And she's got clients that would love to build or buy a place in Buchanan County because of the proximity to Cedar Rapids and Waterloo.
Mhm.
And she is telling me that 2 of the clients will not come and visit these places, these acreages. Both acreages are in the neighborhood of $600,000. And reasons, turbines. Not only now, but if there's a decision made that they won't be allowed now, what's gonna happen 5 years from now? Will there be another company trying to do it again? The property devaluation, if they can't sell their house now, will their property devaluate? And then also resale. Can they, if there's trouble selling one of these houses now, will be trouble later? And one of the negatives, there was a new house, probably 3 years old, in southwest corner of Buchanan County. And the lady and her husband, in the middle of this, her husband died. So now she's by herself. She's a widow in her 40s and doesn't think she can afford this house anymore. So what happens if they can't get it sold? What happens to her? And then anytime we devalue our property in Buchanan County, it's going to affect the tax rolls. So, and the other thing is this a sign that if we get turbines in here, people aren't gonna wanna move to this county? So there's some major impacts that are going on if the turbines are allowed in the county. So also, I just want to ask you, a couple weeks ago, Kim Brunko sent a letter. Did you guys get it? I mean, you can't say you read it or not, but I just want to know if you got it.
I don't,
No?
I don't think, believe so.
Okay, well,
I don't remember.
during the girls' state basketball tournament, she was coming back. She has a daughter from Dayton, New Hartford, coming back from Des Moines, driving by Grundy County. And it ignited a severe migraine headache that knocked her down for a couple of days, high dose of this. How do we compensate for people to get sick? Who's responsible for that? And how do we compensate for pain and suffering for these people that have migraines? And like you said, in our area, I know at least 4 people that suffer from migraines. And some have been hospitalized as a result of that, so.
Next. Any other comments?
Further comments, I make a motion to adjourn.
Got a first, do I have a second? And a first and second, all in favor? Aye.
Everybody have a lovely week.
Thank you. I didn't